Hey guys, one of the most common defensive runes in the game is bone plating. However, it doesn't work the way the vast majority of players think it does. If you read the rune on the client, it says, after taking damage from an enemy champion, the next 3 spells or attacks you receive from them deal 30 to 60 less damage. Some of you might have already caught on to what I'm talking about, but reading the fan wiki online gives you a better hint. This description instead says, after taking damage from an enemy champion for 1.5 seconds, the next 3 spells or attacks you receive from the same enemy champion deal 30 to 60 less damage. The thing a lot of people get wrong with this rune is the fact that it can only block damage from the same champion who initially procced it. If you watch, you'll see Jinx breaks my bone plating and TF still does full damage to me. Then, TF breaks my bone plating while they're both hitting me, I only block Twisted Fate's damage. So why does any of this matter? Well, if you look at the most common runes on support right now, you'll see every single tank support takes bone plating. This is a huge issue because of a list of reasons. I myself am a support main, and just last week I hit Grandmasters maining tank supports and I haven't taken bone plating in years. Hopefully, this list of reasons I provide can convince you to stop taking it as well. Number 1, you are taking bone plating in a 2v2 lane when it can only block one person's damage. If the support hits you first, well, you're taking full damage from the ADC. Supports are also the ones who engage in lane, so more than likely you'll be taking full damage from the ADC in the majority of trades. This gets especially bad when the enemy ganks you because you are going to be taking full damage from at least 2 people. Number 2, you are a melee champion into a ranged matchup, and if you look at any other lane, they take second wind to help them get through the lane when they play melee versus ranged. Or they take conditioning to outscale the opponent. No other lane takes bone plating when they play melee versus ranged, so why would supports? Number 3, the cooldown is 55 seconds long. This doesn't scale down as the game goes on either. It is 55 seconds flat at all points of the game, and all it takes is a single auto to break your bone plating, and it doesn't even reduce damage on the initial proc either. So they will need to hit you once and follow up with 3 more attacks for your bone plating to even have 100% effectiveness. In a 2v2 lane, you will constantly be taking auto harass or random spells from either champ, so you'll be left without a rune for a full minute. Number 4, the duration. Bone plating only lasts for 1.5 seconds after you get hit the first time. The majority of ADCs and supports don't have a full combo they can go through in 1.5 seconds, so you're not going to be blocking all 3 instances of damage anyways. Number 5, bone plating scales with level. As the support, you will always be the lowest level on your team. This means you are going to get a lot less effectiveness out of it as the game goes on compared to a solo laner. And number 6, speaking of solo laners, as the game goes on, top and mid laners will be focused on side laning the majority of the game. This means for 90% of the game, they are going to be in a 1v1 matchup. Bone plating can only reduce one person's damage, so it makes sense for a solo laner who is going to be in a 1v1 anyways to take it. As a support, you are always going to be grouped with at least one person, so you will never have the 1v1 passive from bone plating. So you will always be taking full damage from at least one other person in a fight. So what are the alternatives? Well, with the rune shard changes, every tank support now takes double scaling HP. Because supports have more HP, second wind heals you way more in lane. So from now on, if you need a defensive laning rune, take second wind. If you want to outscale, take conditioning. Bone plating shouldn't have been taken on supports in the first place just because it can only block one person's damage at a time and you're in a 2v2 lane. But with this season's changes, runes like second wind and conditioning have far more value and make bone plating an even worse option. So if you're a support player, I encourage you to permanently swap bone plating out of your runes, and you'll see yourself climb a lot faster with the other 2 options in that tree. And as always, take care, and I hope to see you in the next video.